All right, class. Happy Monday. Some of us are dragging a little bit, but that's okay. You can always go back and watch this video if you have questions, or if you missed something, you can watch the video and text me if you have questions. You're going to need your composition notebook and you're going to need your graphic calculator. Some of you have graphic calculator on your computer. Others of you might have downloaded a calculator onto your phone, and some of you physically have a calculator just as I do. You can either use the TI-83 or the TI-84. Some type of graphic calculator is fine. Please make sure you follow the steps so that you'll know how to do these things, because your quarter test this week is going to be on what we've covered so far. Okay. And they might have included some other things that I haven't really gotten to yet, which is fine. This quarter test is just to see what you know in preparation for the ELG at the end of the year. So just do your absolute best on it. So so that you'll know where you stand. Okay, am I almost ready for the ELG, or do I have a lot more work or concepts that need to be covered? And that's a way to communicate to me, okay, Miss Reyes, you need to go over this stuff again. Or you haven't gotten to this yet, so you need to make sure that you teach this part. Okay? All right. So we're going to go over the notes that we took on Friday. We talked about scatter plots. And again, our scatter plots, this is what we wrote on Friday. Scatter plots are graphs that compare two quantities. We talked about quantities being values represented by a number like time, minutes, hours, days, years, weight. Any values that can be represented by a number is going to be considered quantities. So we're comparing two different quantities. One quantity we will graph on the x-axis, and the other quantity we graph on the y-axis. Okay? We talked about what that means when we graph them, what's the correlation between points, and your correlation. If the points are going down, it's a negative correlation. If the points are going up, that's a positive correlation. If the points are scattered everywhere, that means that the two quantities that you're graphing or comparing does not have a relationship. So positive relationship means that as the x values increase, the y values also increase in value. Okay. Negative correlation means as your x values, whatever your x value is, as it increases, the y values and whatever that quantity is going to decrease. All right. And we'll probably talk more about that tomorrow. Maybe today if we have time. Okay. All right. So, um, sorry, y'all. This is how we find our line of best fit. Now, your line of best fit is going to be the line that best represents the scatter plot. It's going to be the line that best represents the scatter plot. So what we do to figure out what our line of best fit is, we take the points that are on the scatter plot, we type them into the calculator, then we press our stat button, calc, we go down to lean reg, press enter twice, and it'll give us an equation for the line of best fit. It tells you what the line of best fit is. And we use this line to make other predictions in this situation, okay? We use this equation to make predictions. And we won't talk about predictions until tomorrow, but we want to make sure that you understand how to do a line of best fit. So we're going to do some examples of just this, what we started on Friday. We're going to do some examples on page 9. Okay. So let's go to a new page, and that is page 9. So at the very top of the page, you got Q3 because it is quarter 3, and we got page 9. We're going to write the title here in a minute. And under page 9, we're going to write the date. Remember, we agreed to start doing that more so we can find these pages. Today is March the 8th, 2021. So 3/8/21. Okay. The title of this page is going to be Line of Best Fit Examples. Line of Best Fit examples. Okay. All right, and of course we're going to need our calculator, and we're going to use the steps from the previous page. We're going to use the steps from the previous page. All right, and I'll pause for the calls because some of you are still writing, as I can see. All right, so let's do our first example, number 1. Okay, in our first example, it says a student, let's write this down, a student who waits on tables, like a waitress, at a restaurant, records or recorded. Let's put recorded, past tense. This is what they did. Recorded the cost of the meals, so how much they paid for their meals, and the tip. Okay? This is the scenario. So they recorded this information. They put this information in what you call a X and Y table. So we're going to do a sideways X and Y table, where your X is going to represent the cost of the meal, or we're going to put meal cost. This is going to be our X values. And your Y value is going to be the tips. So now you have your X values and you have your Y values. Okay? And we're doing a sideways table, so it doesn't take up so much space. Sometimes you'll see tables that go sideways and they'll say that table is horizontal table because it's going from left to right. And sometimes you'll see the tables are vertical. That means they're going up and down. Okay? And I'll pause for the calls. All right, these are the values that they put into the table. So the first customer ordered a meal that cost them $4.75, and they gave this student a 50-cent tip. Okay. The second customer their meal was $6.84, and they gave the student a 90-cent tip. The next customer was $12.52. That's how much they paid for their meal. And they gave the student a $1.50 tip. Okay. Another customer meal was $20.42, and they gave the student a $3 tip. The last customer, I'll put one more customer here. The last customer gave students' bill their bill came up to, $8.97, and they gave them a $1 tip, a $1 tip. And I'll pause to make sure that you have this written. All right, so now just looking at this table or looking at these values, do you think this scatter plot, if I was to graph it, it'd be a scatter plot. The points are not going to form a perfect straight line. But do you think that this scatter plot would be a positive correlation, or do you think this scatter plot would be a negative correlation? Anybody? Do you think this scatter plot, if you were to graph these points, do you think these points will go up? Do you think these points will go down? Or do you think there's just no correlation between the two values at all? On an average, as the meal cost increases, what happens to the tip cost or the amount of tip that they pay? Is it going up? Is it going down? Or is it all over the place? Yes. It's going up. So because as the meal price increases, the tip price increases, this is going to be a positive correlation. So we're going to write this here. Positive correlation. Okay, this is a positive correlation because, I'm going to abbreviate because, okay? As X, and I'm putting parentheses, the meal cost increases, Y, let me put comma, Y, the tips increase. Okay? So that's why this is going to be a positive correlation, because as your meal cost increases, the tips amount also increases. Okay? The tips increase. And I'll pause to give you a chance to write. Now we're going to write the equation for the line of best fit. We're going to write the straight line for this, or the line that best represents this scatter plot. Without even graphing it, you can find the equation for the line of best fit, okay? So we're going to write, or we're going to find the equation for the line of best fit. This is the line that is going to best describe the scatter plot. And we don't even have to graph it to find that line. Okay, we're going to type it in the calculator. I'm going to pause for the calls, okay? Here, while I'm waiting, we're going to label this as A. This is the first thing we found was the correlation. And B, we are writing the equation for the line of best fit. Raise your hand if you are still copying. Okay, so now we need our calculator. So let's pull out our calculator. And we're going to type in these ordered pairs, okay? Remember, we're going to put our X values in L1 and our Y values in L2, okay? And the steps that I'm using again are going to be the steps that are on the previous page, page 8, okay? These are the steps that I'm using so that I can write the equation for the line of best fit. All right? Okie dokie. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, let's clear the calculator. That's second plus 7, 1, 2. Second, the plus sign, the number 7, which is reset, 1, and 2. Second plus 7, 1, 2. And I'm going to do it again. Second plus 7, 1, 2. And this resets my calculator, okay? Now I'm going to type these points in, these ordered pairs. So I'm going to go to stat. If I'm going too fast or if I leave you, please let me know. So let's go to stat. This is what your screen looks like when you press this button, stat. This is where stat is located. Okay? Jonathan, I need you to do this with us, okay? Diego, I need you to do this with us. Where's your calculator? Okay, okay. Okay. Chase, do you have this? Are you doing this with us? Okay. All right, good deal. All right, so now we're going to press enter right here on edit. So press enter. And again, we're going to put our X values here and our Y values here. You have to have a calculator, especially for your quarter test this week, because these are the things that we're going to be doing on our quarter test, okay? So we're going to enter in our X values. These are the dollar amounts, the cost of the meal. So the first cost is going to be $4.75. So that's 4.75. So type in 4.75 first. Then press enter, or you can press the down arrow to go to the next line. And the next meal cost was, the next X value is $6.84. So 6.84. $6.84. Press enter or press the down arrow to go to the next line. So you can type in your next X value. And your next X value is $12.52. So that's going to be 12.52. Press the down arrow or you can press enter. So you can go to the next line. And the next X value or the next meal cost is $20.42. So we have $20.42. Press the enter button or press the down button to go to the next line. So you can write your next X value. And your next X value, your last X value is $8.97. So we have 8.97. So we got $8.97. Press enter or press the down arrow to go to the next line. Anybody need more time to type in their X values? Gregory, you typing this in, babe? Okay. Please make sure you type these values in for X. Does anybody need more time? Okay. I'll pause for the cause. All right, so now we're going to type in our Y values. We're going to type in our Y values. So we're going to go use the arrow key to go over to L2. Okay. So now when we're doing that, give me 1 second. Sorry, y'all. You have to say whatever it is that you need because otherwise I'm not going to know. Okay? So if you need it, then you just tell me that that's something that you need. So I'll know, okay? Do you know how to get to this list right here? Just press the stat button. It's on the back of this right here. All right. So now we're going to type in our tip amount. So we got 50 cents. So that's 0.50. Okay. Press enter or the down button. And it's just going to put 0.5. That's the same as 0.50 cent or, whatever. Then we got 0.90 cent. So we press 0.90. And again, that's the same as 0.9. Press enter or press the down button. Then we got $1.50. So we press 1.50. That's going to be 1.5, which is same as $1.50. And then we have $3. So we just type in 3, enter or press the down arrow. And then that last tip amount is $1. So we press $1 and then enter. Okay? And you should have both your X and Y values typed in. You should have the same number of X values as Y values. If you don't, you're going to get an error. So please make sure you type your values in correctly. Is there anyone that's still typing in X and Y values? The meal cost for X and the tip amount for Y. Okay. So now, after you type this in, you're going to go to stat again. Stat is right here. Let me pause for the calls because there's a question in the chat. All right, so once we go here to this screen, we're going to press our arrow over to calc, arrow over right here to CALC, and then go down to lean reg right here, number 4, lean reg. And remember I told you to press enter 2 times. If you have a TI-84, you might have to press enter 3 times, okay? So you're going to press enter on lean reg and enter once more. And this is going to be your line of best fit, okay? This is money. So because we're talking about money, we only need 2 spaces behind the decimal, okay? So that's what we're going to round to the nearest hundredths place. How do I know that, Ms. Reyes? Because we're dealing with money. So there's only 2 decimal spaces when you're dealing with money. So here, our A is our M, so our slope for this one is going to be 0.16 cent, 1 6. So we have Y is equal to 0.16 cent X, because that's what our A is in the calculator, is our M. And our B, our Y-intercept, is minus, and we say 30 cent, because it's 29.9 and some change. So we're gonna round it to the nearest cent, penny. So that's going to be 30 cent. Okay, so this is minus 30 cent. Okay, minus 30 cent. And this is going to be our line of best fit. Again, the steps are on the previous page. The last thing that we're going to do, and then we're going to move on to the next one, our C. What is the expected tip? So this is what we're trying to find. What is the tip? Okay. If, put this up. There we go. What is the tip if the cost of the meal is $10.50? What is the cost of the meal? Sorry, what is the tip? What is the expected tip if the cost of the meal is $10.50? Okay. So, what is the tip? Which letter represent tip? Does X or Y represent the tip? Say again. Y represents the tip. So Y is missing. Okay. So Y is what's missing. You got to figure out what Y is equal to. Okay. Because it's asking for the tip. Okay. Then what is X in this situation here? What is the cost of the meal? What did they say the cost of the meal is? What is X? What is X equal to in this situation? Anybody? Which is what in this situation? What they $10.50. Good job. So we got $10.50 is my X. So in order to figure out Y, we're going to use this equation. The equation is Y is equal to 0.16x minus 30. And we're going to substitute the $10.50 in the place of X to solve for Y. Okay? So we have Y is equal to 16 cents times the X, which is $10.50. So we got $10.50 minus 30 cents. And this is going to give us the expected tip. This is going to give us what Y is. So we're going to type this in our calculator to see what our answer for Y is. So this is what you do. You turn your calculator back on, and you're going to type in 0.16 times $10.50 minus the 30 cent, 0.3. So type this in your calculator, just like this, just like you see it here, and then press enter How much money is this going to be when you press enter? Type this in and press enter. How much money is that? Anybody? Type this in and see. Oops, got this stuff. Very good. $1.38. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to give you a second example, but I want you to do most of this. You're going to do most of this on your own. I'm going to guide you through, but most of this you're going to do on your own. Okay. Any questions about how I got $1.38 for the tip? This is your expected tip. All right, so let's look at example number 2. And we're going to do the same thing that we did in this example. We're going to find out what the correlation is. We're going to write the equation for the line of best fit. And we're going to make some type of prediction using the line of best fit. Okay? All right, so this is our second example. Example number 2. Guys, I know that it's Monday, but time goes by a lot faster when you participate, okay? Time will go by a lot faster for you. Is there anyone that was still copying down the first example? I don't want to move on if you didn't have this copied. Is everybody okay? Raise your hand if you need this. Okay, I don't see any hand raises, so I'm going to keep going. And that question in the chat never popped up. I wasn't ignoring it. It's just that that question never popped up. So if you still have that same question, you can unmute yourself and let me know. But that question never popped up, okay? Sorry about that. All right, so number 2, it says here, we're going to do a different scatter plot. The table below, what time is it? Is that time already? It's almost that time. We'll write this down and then we'll see if you can do this on your own. The table below shows the length or the lengths and corresponding ideal weights of sand sharks. This is a type of shark. Okay. So in this scatter plot, we are comparing two quantities. We're comparing the lengths of the sharks to the weight of the sharks. So our X is going to be the length of these sharks, where the Y is going to be the weight of the shark. So the first shark has a length of 60, and that same shark weighs 105 pounds. Okay? The second shark has a length of 62, and it weighs 114. The third is 64 inches or 60, yeah. And its weight is 124. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, to write the same thing twice. The fourth shark is 66 in length, and it weighs 131. The next shark is 68, and it weighs 139. 70 for the next shark in length, and its weight is 149. And the last shark is 72 in length, and the weight of it is 158. Please just copy this down. See if you can figure out what the correlation is. What is the correlation for A? And then Y. B, line of best fit. See if you can find that. Okay. And I will help you with C tomorrow. All right. I'm going to stop the video here. Please make sure that you do this. If you have questions, just let me know, okay? I'll stop the video here.